How do you receive knowledge in the digital age? This is a prescient question in which philosopher Jacques Derrida can aid the inquiry. Jacques Derrida was a late 20th century philosopher whose main concerns were philosophy, what is the world to us, linguistics, how these structures, stemming from family, society, and culture, define the world, and lastly, politics. And what means is the state of construction of the ideals of the elite. From this constellation, we arrive at what Derrida calls deconstruction. What is the nature of binaries? Derrida attempts to answer this philosophical question through his analysis of language. Through his analysis, he comes to the illicit truth that structures, which define our reality, situated at the core of language, are two oppositional binaries that contradict each other. From this understanding, Derrida develops the concept of the universal signified, conceived in his 1967 essay, Structure of Science and Play, the Discourse of the Human Sciences, as the meaning is not only created through the interconflicting movement of associations embedded in concepts, but also the overarching schema that binds antagonistic concepts together within a wider linguistic narrative. This meta-narrative lies at the school of structuralism, a popular linguistic theory at the time created by Swiss linguist Fernand de Saussure. Saussure, in his published lectures, General Course in Linguistics, formulates a new method of linguistic analysis. Through these lectures, Saussure creates the linguistic theory of structuralism and semiotics, an ontological study of language as signs. Signs, which Saussure argues, are the linguistic representations of life. He further states that signs are arbitrary in their meaning and refer to other signs. Take, for example, the concept tree. Common sense tells us that a tree, a concept created through language, is an objective representation of reality. However, structuralists argue that this rendering of phenomenon tree is merely a conceptual schema created by language to define things as they relate to structures in society, which in its essence are fundamentally arbitrary. So with this problem, which is inherently philosophical, opens up the discussion of reality and sets up the conditions for what Derrida will term as deconstruction. For us, Derrida becomes very important in understanding the situation of hypermodernity. From its preceding postmodernity, structures and meta-narratives collapse under what Derrida called deconstruction. For in deconstruction, Derrida argues that language becomes free to express itself from the rigid confines of structures. This understanding of language is similar to French poet Stéphane Mallarmé, a poet who wrote on language and perception. In hypermodernity, the database metaphysics of the internet opens humanity up for novel ways of self-creation. What is the thing and stitch? Another perennial question that is fixated at the core of modern philosophy. Since the age of the Enlightenment, ideals were reflectory impressions of a phenomenon, extending beyond space and time that German philosopher Immanuel Kant called the thing and stitch. Its English meaning things in itself. In a digital age, the thing unstitched is attributed to the database and its adjacent associations. What is popularly considered Web 2.0 is the internet during the social media boom of the early 2010s. What we saw during this period was the oscillation between interactivity and passive engagement. What do I mean by passive engagement? Well, what makes Web 2.0 different from its 1990s counterpart, Web 1.0, is that engagement with database materials is limited to a fixed local space. This space, which is the original HTML page, was a static medium form in which only the author of the page, the administrator, was solely allowed to modify the content of the page. What Web 2.0 does through social media sites such as Twitter and Facebook create oscillation spheres between interactivity, you can create information freely and based on your own sentiments, and passive engagement, consuming information from other content creators. In this dialectic, the internet becomes more dynamic. Returning to Derrida, the ding on sich becomes the dynamic forces of interactivity and passive engagement. Here's where deconstruction comes into focus, as these elemental structures generate conceptual meaning for individuals on the internet. Concepts in general, such as the manifold of information that is circulated on the web, shift meaning between its adjacent users. Twitter threads are indicative of this, as the original post is actively recontextualized and reformulated by the various opinions of spin-off threads thus creating endless interpretation and speculation on the initial post. For this sense, the universal signified eluded by Derrida becomes an univocal non-signified in where meaning itself is bestowed upon the individual in their relationship to the digital database. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.